I'm Willie Cafu.
I'm Charlie Boyle,
I'm Will
Yes,
Halzer.
yes,
and we are here interviewing Margaret Koch on December 8th, 2020 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
right.
Can you tell me a little bit about your childhood?
Well, grade school was St. Michael's in Milwaukee on 24th or so and Cherry Street. Lived right close there with my mother and went to the movies once in a while and shopping for food, just regular daily routine. And for recreation, I guess I would say I did a little roller skating up and down the neighborhood on the sidewalk. That was back in the younger days. So
Were you,
whatever
were
you
you-
want to ask me.
How old were you when you moved to Milwaukee?
9, just 9, 19, in the early 30s. Yeah, 19. And went right to school. Had my first communion or first Eucharist was at St. Michael's Church there on next to the school on 24th and Highland or not Highland on Cherry Street. So we lived nearby and we would walk and take the streetcar back and forth to 12th Street where there were stores, the penny stores, an old store called Schuster's was so famous because it was a large department store. And what else? You ask me.
What was your favorite store?
I would, well, it, about even between J.C. Penney and Schuster's. There were no others. The rest would be shoemaker. We would go with our shoes to be repaired. There was a shoemaker. Otherwise, just residences and smaller businesses. Probably a tavern or two. Oh. So later on, how far are we now into high school?
Um,
Or,
why did you move to Milwaukee?
well, it was a family thing with my parents, a decision to leave my father, and we came to Milwaukee, and my mother found a job with the help of her aunt in a sewing in a sewing factory type. She was good at sewing machine work and learned how to work on men's suits and mostly on overcoats, mostly suits that were made to order. There were a lot of women and men in this factory. So she worked there actually 25 years from one time to the end. After 25 years, she studied and became a matron, a jail matron in downtown jail in the safety building. And in the meantime, I was employed in the safety building too, in the medical examiner's office for 11 years. So that takes us up into 40s and 50s already, 1940s. So Yeah, why we moved to Milwaukee, you asked me.
Yeah.
So, well, it ended in a divorce. So I was with my mother from there on, from age 9 on. And what else?
What was it like growing up during the Great Depression?
Well, well, the wartime we were rationed. You would have food stamps and take the coupon book and use the stamps, trade them in for your groceries or foods. I don't remember much of going for that. Some clothing you had to wait in line. When the women wanted nylons, they were scarce. So we sometimes had to wait in line or even have them mended because they were rare and hard to find and not not inexpensive also because we were paying rent and she was the only work paying the rent for herself and me. Okay, up to the late 40s, 50s.
I had another question about your childhood. You stayed before that you played the piano. And I was wondering,
Very little. Yeah, that was at St. Michael's grade school. Then the sisters had a piano, and I would go to the sisters for lessons. That was just a very year or two at the most, maybe a year.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
So,
just enough to learn a little to pick up some sheet music. I did like to buy them. In high school, we bought sheet music and would like to follow the songs along with the radio. There was no TV yet.
what was your favorite type of music?
Movie or music?
Music.
Music, rock and they call it rock and roll. I can't think of the. I have a collection of all the. I collected the theme songs of the big bands. Well, one was Charlie Spivak, Spivak. I'm trying to think of the other popular musicians. What are the other musicians? Oh, that's old. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're talking music now.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. um, Tommy Dorsey. Does that name? No, that he was very famous, or if he's still alive, Tommy Dorsey. Um, they would come to play at what's now I think the name is different. It was called the Eagles Ballroom downtown on I believe Highland Avenue. Now it's converted to some other kind of activity, but people would go there for the dancing and watching the big bands play. Um, try to think some other music for you. You can ask me something else. I hope I'm not roaming around with these questions. So
No, it's all good. Um, so did you go to like a lot of concerts at the Eagles Club?
yeah, well, it was mostly standing room when they would come to town. But not a sit down concert.
Mm-hmm.
It was dancing. And remember Jitterbug? That was popular. Still is, I guess. That's fun. And I just remembered I took dance lessons at Fred Astaire. Not at Fred Astaire. Was it? I'm trying to remember now. Yeah, that was fun. and whatever you want to ask her.
How long did you take dance lessons for?
Well, probably a year. Yeah, I could look up some of those things at home, but I didn't have time last week to get out any more dates and things. The years at the different jobs, that I can remember easier for you.
Okay, we just got a couple more childhood questions, then we can move into that.
Okay.
What was the most popular activity that kids participated in when you were a child?
That's a great question. Oh, you could jump rope, playing jacks, the boys probably, and marbles, and maybe watch the cowboy movies on maybe, or go to movies on Saturdays. Probably homework was important too, and go visiting your relatives in on the other side of town. I had aunts and uncles who would invite us every a couple times a month maybe. Okay.
Where would you go to watch the movies?
Well, now it's changed names, of course, like everything seems to. If you remember the Ambassador Hotel, I think it's on near Wisconsin Avenue or Clybourne on around 20th, roughly. It is now being completely remodeled and beautiful. I saw on TV lately that but I'm not sure about the name anymore. But it was the Ambassador. Oh, and then the movie nearby was Climax, the name of the movie house, CLIMAX, popular movie in that same neighborhood. Okay. I think there was another theater called Vilas. No, I guess I'm wrong on that. VILAS. I think I'm wrong on that one though. Sorry. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna pass down to Charlie now.
All right. So when you were a teenager, did you have like a part-time job?
Yes, after 16 you have to a job permit. Yes, that was at JC Penney
Mm-hmm.
on Vliet Street and about 13th and Vliet near downtown. VLIET, Vliet Street. Yeah, it was clerking part-time, of course, maybe Friday nights and sometimes Saturdays. I don't think the stores were open on Sundays in those days. It was mostly Saturdays.
What did you usually do when you were working there?
Well, selling women's items, handkerchiefs and undies and stuff in the women's section. It
Mhm.
was a department store with different, an upstairs for children's wear, 2-story store building. I think it's still there.
So when you were involved at St. Michael's Church, right? So
Yeah.
any particular services that may have stuck with you over the years?
Oh, yes, not the choir, but a youth group called CYO. I came to me. I just remembered it. It takes me a while. Catholic Youth Organization. So they had, I don't know what we used to do, but we'd have meetings and sing-alongs and probably not picnics, but things doing like we do here with the parishes, having the dinners for the parish. So we'd go to those. CYO, yeah,
Mhm.
that was then. And what else?
You told us in our pre-interview that you had a picture of you in your first communion. Do you happen to
Yes.
have that with you?
No, but I have more. I can bring one. I gave it to I happen to be in the alumni now. I go to their yearly breakfasts and anniversary dinners, and old time students and parishioners of St. Michael's bring in memorabilia. So I did take in one of my pictures with the date on it, 1936, I think. Yes, so they have that there at the wherever the library is at St. Michael's, I believe. And the Hmong people have pretty well mostly taken over the parish as far as they have Hmong masses and I think some Spanish now that that's more popular. I haven't been to St. Michael's now since they had the anniversary a year ago. That was just a dinner and a very nice with door prizes and things like that. Just a get together of old timers. Yeah.
Mhm. And what about your high school years? Like, can you remember any like particular moments, like maybe any clubs you were in, or dances, or graduation?
Well, I was busy with the gymnastics. Here's my GAA. Can you see that? Girls Athletic Association.
Yeah.
And that was from the Milwaukee Turners also. And yeah, gymnastics at high school, that was just mostly, I guess, baseball, if I can remember right. I'm not good on this now. Baseball, basketball.
Hmm.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. Are you still in touch with any of your friends who you may have known in high school?
No, no, after high school, I went to a business college and eight of us girls became friends and we would meet for lunch at least once a month. This was where a business college where you learned to be efficient at typing and calculating and what did I say? Shorthand. I loved shorthand and I did well at that. And so that was a year and a half course that my mother registered me for that after high school. Right from June graduating into 18 months there. It's called a Business Institute. And it was located downtown on Plankinton Avenue and State Street, I believe, or Wells Street now.
Yeah.
I don't suppose that's there either anymore. Okay.
So can you tell us a little bit more about the business college?
Well, it was every day like going to regular classes, typing, shorthand, writing letters, how business correspondence, how to use the correct grammar in your letters if you're applying for a job, and how to place the typing on the page and it sounds like detail work, but that was important.
Mhm.
And yeah, these 8 of us girls would became pretty friendly and would get together for luncheon at each one of our homes every month or so. So that lasted up until a couple years ago, actually. I think I'm the last one of them. I lost 2 of them who were 90 or 91 last summer, this
Very
last 19 in 2020 early. So I'm hanging in there. Yes. Sorry, go ahead.
So during World War II, can you remember what was sort of happening in Milwaukee and what was sort of happening to you during that time?
Oh boy. I was just working. I don't, no, I just can't think of anything very unusual. Continuing working, and if things were rationed at the stores or your food, but I don't remember too much of that. I think we got along pretty well as long as she was working, and that's about it. I'm sorry.
That's all
Oh,
right. Don't worry about it.
yeah.
Uh,
So,
could you tell us a little bit about your father? We know
oh,
he's a construction worker. Could you tell us maybe if you know where he worked?
well, it was his own com his own business. This is a small town, so if somebody needed something, I hardly saw him. Maybe once or twice a year I would see him, and we would. I was very young, I didn't question anything. He would just say hello and how are you, and very short visit, nothing.
Hmm.
No, I got to see him here in the 1920s, in the late 1900s, because he came to visit here in Milwaukee. But that was way past because he was retired by then. But as far as the construction, there, I don't know what exactly. He
That's all
did
right.
some being a Croatian. He could speak Croatian, and he did have a radio job broadcasting. And I still have an old fashioned record that was given me after he passed away. But he would broadcast over the radio the music or talk. But this was in Croatian, and I wasn't there, so I didn't hear any of it either. But this was right only in the town up there, probably reaching as far as Rhinelander, the neighbor towns. Over the radio in those days was not, like a TV, just local. Uh, I can look into that for you if you want to.
Hmm. So you told
You
us
have to,
earlier about your time in Japan. Could you
yeah,
dive more deeper into that?
yeah. It was secretarial type work in a large office building for. We had a colonel was in charge, and a lieutenant colonel, and a sergeant, and another private, and one or two other girls. This was all on one floor in this large building where we'd make out reports. I did a lot of typing in with many copies of the examine reports that they made up from the lower branches. This was trying to think of what branch we had. One of the girls worked for the legal department, and I would write the reports that they would. This was taking notes in shorthand and then transcribing, mostly, yeah. And then, yeah, weekends we would go sightseeing. There's a lot to see. So, any question on that? I don't know if you. There's
So can you tell us how long you were there for?
actually 26 months
Mhm.
altogether. Yeah, from 1947 October to 49 about November before Christmas. Yeah. So yeah, going over by and how did I come back? By ship too, didn't I? Yeah. My goodness. Um,
Mhm.
Coming back, my mother met me in Downey. Well, Downey, California is a small town, but my cousin lived there, so we met at her house, and the cousin showed us around to what's famous in what town is it? San Francisco, right? Right there where we landed. So they showed us to the farmers market that's famous there, and then we came back to Milwaukee on the train, and back to normal again after those 2 years, unpacking a lot of things. You have to come to my house and I could show you. I'm really serious. If you want to see some other things I brought home, actually I have to start moving them out of the house. Some clothing and knickknacks. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Harley, do you mind if I cut in for a second?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Would you mind telling us any differences or similarities between any of the places that you went and Milwaukee?
The differences. How do you mean?
Just anything. Like jobs and stuff and like the environment, I guess. Like how was it different or similar to Milwaukee?
Well, the medical examiner's office was very. You never know what was going to happen because, as you know, there are a lot of homicides going on these days. But in those, we had 12. That's wrong. I don't know how many investigators that would go out on suspicious deaths. And if it is a suspicious or unusual death, it would have to be reported. And then the police would report that, would check on the scene also. And then the bodies would be brought to the morgue, which was right downstairs from where I worked in the safety building downtown. So I sometimes had to take shorthand notes of the autopsies. So that if you want to know excitement, you never knew what kind of a case would happen if the report if it would come through the police reports, and the investigator would go over to the scene and check it out, and then see what to proceed with, if it should be put to an inquest, which I took notes in shorthand at the inquest every so often. It would depend on the case. That was exciting. 11 years. Yeah, very different for a job.
How did you get the job in Japan?
Okay, I checked the bulletin boards. I don't know if they do it nowadays, but they jobs would be printed out and put on the bulletin boards. And I happened to see that one advertised at I think it was at the courthouse downtown. Yeah, that's, where that is, on 8th or 9th and Kilburn. Yeah, I went to check out what was available. Yeah, and applied. So
What was it like traveling by ship that far of a distance?
yeah, well, you could sit out on the, what if you call it, the deck. There are chairs. I have pictures. I wish I could show you my album. Sit out and watch the waves and the weather. And the food was served, of course, 3 times a day. And you have a place to your bunk, your little room. And I was a lady friend I met from Chicago. She and I got to be friends because she was about the closest living as far as closeness geographically. She and I from Milwaukee and Chicago. The rest of the people we met or got acquainted with were from other parts of the country. And she was assigned to Tokyo, and I was assigned to Kyoto. We would visit back and forth once in a while. And now she is, as far as I know, she was transferred to she applied for other jobs. She went to France and to Europe. So I lost track, but we corresponded for several years. That was a nice friendship. So, oops. Yes, I think we're lost.
Hello?
Michael, the lights went out. Everything went off. Dark here.
Sorry?
I
Hello?
think we're done or something.
Can you still hear us?
Can you hear us?
I hear you. Oh.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mike.
No, it's okay.
All right. I think I could.
How long of a boat ride was it?
Charlie.
What?
I hear
Hello?
you.
Oh, good. All right. I think Willie was talking.
Yes, I have a quick question. How long of a boat ride was it to Japan?
A program 2-year contract. I signed up to then I made transportation and everything was taken care of. Otherwise, if you left early, I suppose if you were unhappy, you could cancel and go home. Not everybody stayed. Some of the girls and I guess fellows. I didn't know any of the fellows that were assigned to the clerical work over there. Most of them were in the army, probably the men or the women, young men. Michael, the battery's low again. How long have we been talking?
What was that?
I think the battery's low again.
That's okay.
But what time is
That's
it?
okay.
Well, what time is up? No.
My battery on my cell phone's going slowly. We're down to 10%. So
Can you hear me, hon?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
Yep.
don't be surprised if we're
okay.
the battery is running a little low. But go ahead.
All right. I think I can
What-
pass it on to Will now.
Okay.
Oh, well.
Um,
Hi.
Hello. So I think we're gonna start a little bit in your adult life now. So tell us about your marriage, your wedding day, anything about that.
Oh my. Well, I went to different dances. Oh, I belong to a group called the Catholic Social League, CSL, and they would have mostly dances, maybe picnics. I don't know. It's a long time ago. So this one person introduced this couple. Okay, Clarence and can't think of her name. His wife. I knew them from seeing them at the dances, and they introduced me to who became Mr. Koch, my Mr. Koch, Richard, and we danced, and then he called me actually on the day of or after President Kennedy was shot. Just last week we celebrated that, didn't celebrate it, but it was the anniversary of when President Kennedy was shot. And Richard called me and we met. He would come to visit us we lived on 60th Street then. My mother and I bought a house in 1951 or so on 60th. And well, he came to visit and we would go and have a drink or two and dance. So what did you want to know? Wedding date? May 23rd, 1964.
And then where was that at? Where did you get married?
Here in St. Catherine's on Center Street.
Okay. How many kids did you?
Go ahead.
How many kids did you have?
Oh, this guy, Michael, and then sister Rita. And Rita is a flautist, a musician, and works at a big title company, real estate title company over in La Crosse with her family, where she lives. And she has 2 children.
Okay.
And Mike had these 2, Felix and Sophia.
Okay. And then where did you?
Yeah, I adopted 4 adult people who had families of their own because when okay, my husband's wife passed away probably in 1962 or 63, and for legal reasons we adopted he had 4 children from his marriage before. So these 4 people are, except one just passed away in July, but now I have the 3 of those 4 who are actually ours too, our children too. But they are aging also. One is 80, one is 70, 75, one is 60, 65. So that's my big family.
Okay. And then where did you send your kids to school? Was it any of the places that we talked about already?
Mike went to Madison, right? UW. Rita went to St. Norbert's up in Ashwaubenon.
Okay.
That's near Green Bay.
Mhm.
Yeah, she went there and she had different jobs. And Mike he taught at Carroll College out in Waukesha. And well, he spent 8 or 9 years in Germany. I don't know if you knew that. In the 90s, 80s, 90s. He lived in Dusseldorf and knows his way all around Germany because he's been back there again. Yeah. What else? Okay.
Where did they go to grade school?
Michael?
Yeah.
Our Lady of Good Hope. It's on Good Hope and Sherman, near here. I mean, near where I live now. Yeah, Our Lady of Good Hope. And then he went to Dominican High. They all went to Dominican High, all 4 or 5 of them. That's right on the Silver Spring, you know.
Mm-hmm. And then in the pre-interview, you said you were a housewife. Anything interesting that you did during that?
Well, we raised hamsters. We would sell them for $1 each. I had up to 33 of them at one time. That
Okay.
was fun. Hamsters all around, cages in the house. And then we had one dog after another, and raising just a small patch of tomatoes, maybe, not a big garden. And well, with all those, see, these 4 children have children of their own. So we'd have a lot of birthdays, get-togethers every so often for all those. And they all live nearby, out in the Brillion up north, and in Mukwonago, and in Cudahy. So it is close by. We would, and in Grafton. That's where they all live now. But they all have 4, 5, 6 children each. So it'd be a busy calendar for me to keep up everything.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember Milwaukee and the civil rights movement?
Mostly by just that it was on the news. No.
Okay.
Yeah. Father Grappy
Mm-hmm.
was, yeah, but I didn't, it was not, none of us, anybody was involved with that I.
Okay. And that was my next question for you.
Oh,
So you already answered it. What do you remember about the 100th anniversary of Milwaukee?
Milwaukee, yeah, that was a costume kind of thing. And
Okay.
with my Japanese clothing, my mother and I dressed, and they were announcing, well, it's called the Milwaukee Auditorium, where there is a large room for whatever they wanted to do in there. But it was a contest where I don't know what the prize was, but everybody had costumes and would march around, and we did decide, and we dressed in my Japanese stuff and marched. I have a picture of that too. You have to come over and look. That was just a one-time fun time.
Okay.
We didn't win any prize. We didn't win a prize.
Okay.
That was
Any activities that you did around, like, during your adult life?
well. You mean now, these days?
Just any period in your.
Well, just keeping my house and yard, and I like to work out gardening. So no, I didn't. Kind of dull, right? Just cooking and baking, and that's about it. I'll try to think of something we did. Oh, we went to see them. Okay, theater. If you can remember a place called Melody Top, which was a big tent on North Good Hope Street. And my husband's brother and cousins and about a dozen of us. He got the tickets to see these musicals at this Melody Top. That would be about once every 6, 8 weeks. It was an outside big tent where famous entertainers came. Actually, I saved the programs, and I donated all the programs to the Milwaukee Historical Society. all the programs from all those years at the theater there. Trying to think of some of the name of the programs. Maybe like Oklahoma would be one. So, okay.
And then do you mind if we go back to the Cinerama? I just want to, like, where was it located?
Oh, Milwaukee Auditorium. That's on downtown on 5th and 6th Street. I think it's 500 West Kilburn. I think they just raised it, didn't they? A year or two ago. I'm not, Mike would remember. I think it's, or else it's remodeled, because now that's the baseball. Pfizer Forum is there now. So I'm not sure if the auditorium is still, they would have conventions. It was a huge building, or might still be part of it there. Conventions would come in, and big get-togethers, conventions. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. And then talking about church again, do you still attend St. Michael's? And has it changed throughout the years?
Well, we went to 1 or 2 masses because it's quite a ways to get to arrange to go. Mike and I went to that one celebration anniversary mass, but now I go to Our Lady of Good Hope up in near where we live, or St. Catherine's, which is, have you heard of the church on the hill out on 76th Street? It's the very, very old historical type church with beautiful statues, especially of the Ways of the Cross statues are beautiful in that church. And then lately we're combining parishes, maybe as you know, because of the shortage of priests. So we have St. Bernadette, St. Catherine's, and Our Lady of Good Hope, our tri-parish, all run by the same main office or so, you'd call it. The same office, same.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm thinking of the right word, but anyway, we have to get together. There are different parishes in the Milwaukee area that are doing that also for financial reasons and attendance problems. Yeah. So, okay.
And I think that just about concludes it, actually. So
Yeah.
thank you for responding to questions. Of course.
I wish I could. See, it's late in the day, and I'm 95, and I get tired around 3 or 4 o'clock. And we went to mass today at 4 o'clock for Our Lady for our Immaculate Conception, and chased for groceries, and now here. So I'm kind of fuzzy. Sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
Good luck to all of you.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey.
All right, so do you want to talk about some of the pictures that you brought in?
Okay, back to summertime when there was no school. My mom put me on the train downtown, the Chicago Northwestern, and then told the conductor with my tag on my jacket to watch out for me until we get to Eagle River. And I got to Eagle River. This was in the summer, several years in a row. So here are some on the farm at my grandpa and grandpa's.
Yeah.
That,
Which one do you want to show them?
well, the haystack here. With my cousins, we would play on the farm.
The middle one.
In the middle one there. And then You tell me what to say, Mike. I
No,
don't know what
no.
to say.
No, your story's good.
Oh, that shows up really nicely.
Yeah.
That's my grandmother and the dog. I don't remember the dog though. But
What else we do?
things on the farm, just helping with the garden and picking strawberries. My grandma had a garden. What else would we do? And then we had the fair, and we had some of the cousins came up to visit, and we'd go horseback riding and to the fair. There's my pet chicken that I helped, a white chicken that I got at the Vilas County Fair,
Where's the chicken?
and
Oh, there. There's the chicken.
a white leghorn chicken. And I helped feed the chickens at the grandma's and grandpa's. What else would I do? Help my grandpa in the garage. I would sort out his nails and screws and put them in containers. He had a big garage with odds and ends to repair the roof and things. That would have been summertime, 1938. There's a picture of graduation here. Well, we didn't graduate till what year? After 30. This was only 7th grade. But that's the way we lined up for our class pictures. All the students in that grade. How old was I there? 7th. And then back in Milwaukee, after summer vacations over, I went to the Turnverein again every week and learned different dances and marching and a lot of gymnastics on the parallel bars and the rings. And we put on programs once or twice a year, depending on what the instructor had in mind. One year it was Spanish. Would this be Spanish? The mothers made the costumes for all the girls.
My background is bleeding through. Sorry, guys.
Oh, that's okay.
I should turn that off.
Oh, can I help? And
I should. Yeah. Darn it.
well,
I'm gonna turn my background off.
if you have any questions, I'm not good at this.
What would you do at the fair in Eagle River?
At the fair, well, they had a small, I don't remember Ferris wheel, but they must have all the rides like they do around Milwaukee in the different parishes. I don't think we lined up with tickets like they do here, though. It was a smaller setup. And can I help you with something? Oh,
I'm trying to find that darn background thingy.
oh.
I can't
Should
find it.
Should I move?
No, I can't find it now, guys. Do you know where it is? Oh, here. Da, 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 da.
I look like I was
No.
had too much of a haircut, but it's not that bad. It just will grow out a little. Then came First Communion. You asked for that picture last time, and I don't know if I had it or not. That one there, 1935-ish, 1935, at St. Michael's. And we have a group picture of all the communicants, I think. Oh, back to the Turnverein. One year we had a nautical theme that I'm back there with a sailor cap on. Let's see. Those are all the Turnverein students gathered up for another program. So I just grabbed these pictures. If there's something else you ask me, I'll try to answer.
Oh, what would you guys do for the nautical program?
Well, I bet the dance was kind of like a sailor dance. Golly, I don't remember. Sorry. Probably was fun though. But we practiced a lot. We practiced at home so we'd know how many steps to take and so forth. Then came, this was grade school graduation. Lots of graduates. Monsignor Bernard from St. Michael's sitting in front there. He was pretty strict and so forth. I don't know what else I brought here. There's another one, would you call this Irish with a kilt, red checkered kilts and what do you call Irish dancing?
I don't know.
You know,
Gaelic? I don't know.
can you see? Yeah, I'm right there, the third one in. That was at Turn for Ryan down on what's now called the Turner Hall downtown. On 3rd Street, 4th Street, yeah. Turner Hall is very popular yet for music and concerts. The gymnastics here that I talked about were all in the lower level of Turner Hall. And upstairs was a dining room, which we, as students, we went right down the stairs to the gym. We didn't stay up in the dining or bar part, tavern part. Nowadays it's, I don't know, I haven't been in the Turner Hall in the last 100 years. Any questions?
Would you do competitions for gymnastics?
Yeah, last time I was here, I brought you my TM Turner patches. I have 2 or 3 of those. The competition was right there though, not around town like they do now. More local, more right there in the hall. So
And then I was also wondering, so last time we talked,
yeah,
you talked about your job that you had in Japan.
yeah.
And then we kind of skipped to when you got married. What'd you do in between that time?
In between. Okay, first came, okay, after high school, the attorney. After the attorney, I was 21. You have to be 21 to go to Japan. So that was 47 to 49. Came back in 50-ish and looked for a different job, went to the medical examiner's office and worked there then 11 years to 61 or 2. Then came marriage, 64. Between 62 and 63, I did work at the soil conservation office for a year or 2. Then came wedding in 64, May. And then Michael came and Rita, his daughter, came, and we adopted the 4 adults that he had from his first marriage. And then there were a lot of birthdays there and get-togethers every holiday. Then I worked part-time then too, in starting later at the shoe store called Warehouse Shoes. So that's it chronologically for you.
What did you do at the shoe store?
Sell shoes. Yeah, 11 part-time, but at least 11, 12 years, yeah.
What about at the soil
That
conservation
was
place?
sort of mostly secretarial typing, stenographic filing. They had men who go to the headquarters in I believe, South Carolina. They're called cartographers, photographing and taking measurements, surveying. That's what they mostly do. It was a small building up on Teutonia. What street is that? Atkinson, past Capitol Drive, in that area. That was interesting. But I moved on. No, let's see. No, that was my last 40-hour-a-week job. So, how's Charlie today, Mr. Boyle?
I'm doing good.
That's good. You're looking good.
Thank you.
Let's see. At the shoe store, yeah, you learn a lot about shoes. And had certain customers who wouldn't remember you. I moved from one store to another because, well, either the store moved or I wanted to get a location closer to home. So one was on Silver Spring on about 100th Street, and then another one near home on Brown Deer Road, where the American big American flag and American furniture was located, and they're gone, moved out of there. That is all different now. What else? Japan, you asked me. Yeah, I worked in Kyoto, Kyoto, in the Inspector General's office, 47 to 49, writing reports and secretarial type, and sightseeing around the country. And that was occupied Japan, so we were kind of off limits on going to a restaurant. Like here during the virus now, we were not allowed to go to their restaurants or eat their kind of cooking until everybody learned the American cooking over there. We ate, the Army supplied, I was under the 8th Army contract, so we had the food from that they prepared under direction of the First Corps or Army Department. Yeah. What else?
I just have a question about that. So it was like you said you went sightseeing. What was your favorite like place to like? What's your favorite main like place that you saw in Japan?
There were these. They have these shrines which are very antique-ish. The Buddhists, right, is the religion they practice. So, and then there's Lake Biwa, Biwa. Lake is Biwa was the largest lake in Japan. I had friends. We went out canoeing, not often though. Big lake. Also shopping took a lot of time because they wanted you to buy a lot of I brought back a lot of what you call knickknacks and dolls. And they had the PX, also the Army store, Post Exchange, for buying souvenirs. They had a big department store, Daimaru. I traveled to north to Tokyo to visit a girlfriend from Chicago who I met on the way over. So I guess I told you, we corresponded after many years. And we'd visit in Tokyo, and then she'd come down and visit me in Kyoto. We'd go to eat or something. See kabuki programs, stage shows you could get tickets for parades. They had some parades for certain holidays. They decorated their houses on the outside. If there was a death or funeral in their family, they would hang certain flowery decorations on their doors. Very different things that you wouldn't expect here. Now, I don't know what else that you might like to know.
Anything similar? Because you mentioned a lot of different stuff than you would find here. Anything that was similar to what you'd find here?
Well, the department store, I would say, yeah, that would be about the only one. Everything else is, they had their little shops on the streets, so you didn't get into the little stores. Mostly outdoors. The people sitting with a paintbrush and pictures to paint with, then they want the tourists to stop and buy some pictures, or the little ceramic things that they fashioned right there. Yeah, it's hard to remember everything, but yeah. What else can I say? Willie, anything?
Do you have any memories of like going to Summerfest?
Say that?
Do you have any memories of going to Summerfest, like when it first started?
Summerfest. Oh.
Yeah.
It's just a little, mostly, oh my. Mostly walking and looking at everything. There were a lot of open tent type stores, souvenir things. Not much. I wasn't that anxious about Summerfest. I don't know what year they started, but the parking problem is always the biggie. So if you'd want to walk a lot, you'd have to either walk there. We could walk there. My mother and I would walk downtown from where we lived on Winnebago Street. And I didn't watch the bands are the most popular thing that you want to see at Summerfest now, but I wasn't. No, we weren't that excited about the music. So sorry, I'm not much of a fan of Summerfest. So otherwise, we would see. We probably, Michael helped us to get to see the Nutcracker years ago. I had some of those. John McGivern had a program downtown, and of course Rita had her ballet dancing programs, and Mike had his gigs. So there were things to do besides movies or shopping. I'm not very good at describing everything that we lived through. So,
Are there any other pictures that you'd like to show us?
well, no, I think I brought what I thought, you wanted the younger grade school years, and that's about it. What else did we do? Yeah, we tried to travel to Eagle River on vacations and go to see other relatives up there, my little cousins. who are now gone. They mostly to visit the relatives up there and go riding in deep woods and look at we had a little land on a lake that did not have a beach, just frontage. So we'd drive up there almost every time we went to Eagle River, if it was the summer, to see how the land is still there, but it got to be just to go to see the water and the trees. So we sold that. So I think
How often would
tourists
you go
have
up
bought
there?
it by now. Yeah. So,
How often would you go up to Eagle River?
well, yeah, every summer during grade school and Christmas time, maybe. I bought this car in 1951. We had the 51 Dodge, so we drove that, and after that I got other cars. Probably after our wedding we went up, I'm sure, so my husband would meet see what the country was like up there, and then meet more of the relatives. I'm running out of steam for you. I don't know what else would be of interest. Eagle River is mostly a tourist town these days. I don't think they have a hospital. They have to go to Rhinelander or south to Menasha or Merrill, I guess. My cousins still are doctoring with their bad hips and knees. They're in their late 60s already, so we're waiting for them to come visit us before they're getting too old, and I'm getting any older. William Hauser, that's German.
You mentioned Christmas a little bit back. Did you have any like traditions that you used to do or still do?
Yeah, we put a tree up, and I hang bowls all over, and Felix is going to put an angel on top for me. Yet we didn't quite finish this old one that I have now. Yeah, we did a tree every year and try to exchange gifts on Christmas Eve in the older days. And my husband would like to go visit his other relatives from the past. He would stop to, even if it's a few minutes, at his former in-laws, cousins. So yeah, we take care of things that you think that people should do for Christmas. Have a nice dinner. Christmas Eve, probably what, turkey? Maybe ham. I don't know. It's been a while since we had a bigger enough group. This year changed everybody and your way of living now. We don't know what's going to happen, right? Unless we all get the vaccine right away.
All right, I think if we don't have any more questions, I think that just about wraps it up.
Yeah, if you're ever in Brown Deer or if you like driving up to Highway 57, I live right on Green Bay Road. And you let me know and we could visit, have some cookies and soda or Gatorade or something. Sometime when you want to get together or one-on-one, let me know.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Baked some chocolate chip with cherries in last night, so they're a little different. So, or if you want I could ask Mike if it's okay if they came to visit him, and you can have, he makes good coffee or wine or something else. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're very welcome. Hey, Mike, can you take a break? He's gonna take a break. Yeah, I have the big album with these kind of old pictures. That's my, we had to sew up our own graduation dresses at St. Michael's. It's okay. Oh, wait, too bad they're not in color. Huh? Okay, I think they got sick of me. So, okay. I'll give Mike this chair back. Got it?
Yep.
That's a nice chair. Okay. Take care of you guys. Have a happy Christmas.
You too. Thank you.
And to your families. Yeah, I was picking up. That's from the album.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll pick that up.
That's all right. Okay. All right, guys. That background is messy. Gosh.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. What else can we do?